Hello and welcome to the 6th edition of Half Hour, a podcast starring me, John Paul Logidici, as your host. In today's episode, I will be discussing performing with my friend André Meservey. Hope I pronounced that right, man.
You pronounced it spectacularly.
Trying to offend anybody. So, just take us through what's new in your life. How's work? How's school? What are things developing like?
Yeah, of course. So, this summer has been a little dry. I just moved into an apartment with some friends up where I go to school.
Mm-hmm.
For context, I go to school up at UMass Amherst, and I am currently a super senior. But
that's okay, man. I'm about to be too. I'm in my 5th year technically, but I just dropped out for a year. So
no, fair enough. I did the same, especially during COVID. It was terrible. But This summer has really just been about getting used to sort of being on my own, paying bills, utilities, and stuff like that, but also looking for ways to focus on my craft. And what I do is I'm an actor. I also can sing, I dance. I try not to limit myself on what type of work I do. I would like to go more into film, but most of my experience comes from musical theater and plays. So this summer, I helped out my friend who is in the linguistics lab at UMass Amherst. She needed a male speaker for an experiment that she's running. And I also was an extra on a film that was in Boston. So.
That's pretty cool, man. And before I ask you about the film, I just want to let the audience know we're among friends. They're outside, so there's kind of some yelling going on and some partying. So just be wary of that. Sorry if the audio's not perfect. This is not meant to be professional. We're just talking and having a conversation among friends. So tell me more about this movie, though. What movie did you star in? How did you find out about it?
Well, I can't tell you about this movie in particular. I had to sign a non-disclosure agreement.
Okay, I understand.
I'll be able to talk about it probably next year, but one thing I can talk about now that it's out for public release is last year, around October and November, I was an extra on the movie Hocus Pocus 2.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
The original one was with, what was her name?
Bette Midler.
No, the other lady.
Sarah Jessica Parker?
Yep, Sarah Jessica Parker. I remember I used to watch that with my family, around Halloween time. We'd, sit by the TV. And,
I gotcha.
I don't know, it'd just be on. Those movies that are always on during the holidays?
Yeah.
Like A Christmas Story?
Yeah.
The really old one with the car and, he's fixing the car and the smoker goes nuts. I don't mean to go off topic, but...
No, you're good. The funny thing is, I've actually never seen the first Hocus Pocus movie.
No.
Yeah, I've never seen it.
Dude, you gotta watch it.
I've heard. I've heard so many people tell me. So what happened, how I ended up getting cast as an extra was there was an open casting call on Facebook that I found. And me and a lot of my other friends decided to sign up for it. I wasn't really expecting anything to happen.
Yeah.
Because, these things are very fickle. But right when I get into my first semester at UMass, I'm in the midst of doing this play, my first department show, and I get this email from this casting agency saying that, hey, we'd love to have you play a jock in the high school scenes. And as much as I would love to do that, it was in the time where I had midterms. So I had to tell them, I was like, look, I would love to do the film, but fortunately I have midterms. But luckily they were very accommodating, and they said
they made time for you, kind of.
Yeah, they made me a student in the movie, but it's kind of. Hi.
Am I interrupting?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was our friend John. extra guest for us here on the show.
Extra guest star John.
I hope he comes on someday. I offered it to him.
I'm sure he will.
I'm sure he will. He's a very smart guy. I think you're a smart guy too. And no, I'm serious though. I don't ask people to come on who I don't think have something to share, and something to give. So. I was just going to say, all I could think about when you were talking about, you replied to this Facebook thing, that's kind of what you have to do. Yeah. You can't just expect things to come your way. I feel like I've heard this on a lot of other podcasts, but they say, when people say, oh, you're so lucky, some of it really is genuinely luck.
No, it is.
But you have to put yourself in the right situation, you know? like, for example, I'm hoping that maybe I get into a diplomatic job someday. That'd be kind of cool. I go to school in Prague among international students. My major's international relations. So I'm hoping that, I'd put myself in this situation. So, something might come along. But I'm also not just going to sit there. I might try and make a trip to the embassy and see if they need any help.
Yeah, take initiative, especially.
See, I think that is super, super important, especially with your own life. And I think that's the beauty of when you're young and, we're young right now, you can just really push yourself in any direction. Mm-hmm. I really do think it's hard work. I really think that is a key.
Yeah, no, hard work, especially persistence, is what I hear a lot.
Don't give up.
People I've met during extra things, people I've met during stage plays, and even when asking professional actors that make legitimate money and pay bills doing this, say persistence and be stubborn with this. It's key to surviving in this type of path of career. And I mean, I didn't get into this, funny enough, until I was 17 years old. So I technically, compared to a lot of peers that were doing theater camps and theater summer programs since they were like 10 years old or middle school, I started late junior year of high school. Mm-hmm. And I'm only 22 years old, so that was around like 5 years ago. Mm-hmm. But not to be egotistical, but I've practiced this craft pretty religiously for the past 5 years.
Yeah, but that's what you have to do. You shouldn't let anyone come at you because you care about it. Like that is something. Like for example, right? Like I love politics and the whole minutiae that goes along with that. Mm-hmm. And at my college, you couldn't run for student council president in terms of like a direct line.
Oh, okay.
Meaning like how it used to work before. If you had 15 people, like just as an example, 9 of them would win because there's 9 positions in student council, and then internally they would pick who the president was. Right. And I had an amendment, and I was going around to other students asking them to look at it and be like, hey, I don't think this is right. I really think that this is something that should not be run this way. I think that you should be able to vote for the president of the university. Mm-hmm. I feel like that's something that should be important,
I'm getting him ice.
So we have a lot of extra guests today on the show.
Many extra guests.
Ice in the freezer in the garage, you said. What are you guys, gaming?
Yeah, we're doing a whole podcast right now.
Come on.
Can I get a live
It's wonderful.
No, it's okay.
So everyone, we have guests here today. If you want to make a wave, you can surely do that. You can kind of wave in here. Oh yeah.
Hello.
What's up, guys?
Hi, world.
My name's Gavin. I'm 2022 volleyball champion.
That's
excellent. Yeah, they just had the game outside.
It was a
it's
tough
wonderful.
Win. It was going back and forth a lot. There was a lot of ups and downs. There was times where we thought things weren't going to go our way, but
But what are you going to do?
Well, what happened is, one of my biggest fans. He's a family friend since I've been a kid. Mm-hmm. Last minute, I see him show up. Didn't know he was coming. And that helped me push through for the last 5.
Of course.
5 points, which brought us to the win. This is a loser right here. If Jackson want to choose on the losing team.
What real qualifications do you have?
I gotta go. Thank you for having me.
Yep, no problem. If I could just ask you guys to try and keep the scene quiet.
Yeah, sorry.
If you could just tell them, that'd be great.
Yeah. Guys, shh.
So anyway, you were saying, I'm sorry. I know it's a very chaotic scene. No, but it's good. I mean, I feel like this is going to be nice, in the in the future, Maybe people will view this and be like, "Wow, that's kind of funny." Like it was so much fun. But the nature of these podcasts is such that it's very just you're gonna say your thoughts. This is not filtered at all.
No, yeah.
There's just people in here right now.
You just kind of have to.
I mean, we told them that we were having a podcast, but they're in here anyway. But it's okay. It's fine.
It's fine.
I love the extra guests.
Who has a podcast at a party?
Well, you take the opportunities that you can, So I think it's so funny. There's 16 people looking at us right now. I love that she closed the screen too.
I bet they wish they were on.
No, so what's funny is that he goes, "Who does a podcast at a party?" This is probably the last opportunity I'm going to see you for 4 months.
Exactly.
At least I fly to Prague in 9 days. So you just have to take the opportunities when you can. And this is not this is not the Joe Rogan show. You know what I mean? This is not the Joe Rogan show. But anyway, I do want to hear more about like your acting experience. Hello, sir. How are you?
Good evening.
Welcome. How are you doing this evening, sir?
Fantastic, my lady.
Excellent. Can I help you?
You know where the bathroom is?
The bathroom is that way, where John is.
Where?
Yep. Hello, sir.
Hello.
Is there a way we could keep the noise down? Is that possible?
We can try.
Yeah, basement's
JP, what's your
interesting.
podcast on?
It's called Half Hour. It's a show starring me and Andre. At the moment, this is the 6th edition. If you want an episode, dude, more than welcome.
May I sit in?
We can record an episode with you specifically, like just
Sure.
you and I talking.
What is it about?
You can't.
So so ready? So I'm glad you're asking. This is for the audience to see too someday. Basically, it's called Half Hour, and you give me a theme. So Andre and I were talking about performing. So essentially, it's all about like, it's a theme that you should know about, like you should have experience in,
Yeah.
and you should feel like you can talk educatedly about. That's kind of like the lingo of it. And
yeah.
So him and I are not going to talk about repairing a car. We're going to talk
That's
about
fair.
like we're going to stay in this
So
bubble.
is this both of your podcasts? Like,
Yeah,
Or is
yeah.
it just yours?
No,
and
it's just
Andre's?
mine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm just
Recording an app?
podcast.
Yeah, we're doing a
So it's called
podcast
Half
right
Yeah,
now.
Hour?
Yeah.
Let me know when you're done, and I'd
Yeah,
love
yeah,
to talk.
absolutely. Is there a way we could clear this room out?
Yeah,
Is
yeah,
that
yeah.
okay with you
On my
guys?
way out.
I
Where
want
would
to
I find
say
it?
down to
The what?
Where would I
Why are
find
you gonna
it?
come to a
The
party
podcast?
podcast?
I'm
Wherever
gonna
you
put it on
listen-
YouTube on my name.
podcast
On my
on
name.
YouTube?
Yeah, on my name.
Wherever you listen to podcasts.
I don't usually listen to podcasts.
Thank you guys.
Thanks, guys.
So, you guys just met all of our friends
Yeah,
here, and
that was-
again, right? He's right. Who does a podcast at a party? Why not?
Why not? You got to be creative whenever you can.
So I know that there were some distractions. I know that people might skip over that
You
part.
just-
There's a
you
lot
just gotta-
going on.
You got to get used to it. You just got to
Yeah.
accept it
Yeah.
and deal with it as it comes.
We're at the 12-minute mark here. So why don't you just continue talking more about your experience? I'm gonna go close a few windows and I'll just be back.
Yeah, sure.
So just go ahead and keep talking.
All right, yeah. So, like I said, I started doing this when I was 17. I tried a lot of other extracurricular activities before I landed into the theater. I felt like for a portion of my childhood, especially, that I was lost and didn't really know what I wanted to do. I tried martial arts, I tried fencing, I tried soccer, basketball. Nothing really stuck. I even tried varsity football at high school. I wasn't great by any means, but I ended up getting injured a couple times, and which left me out of most of the junior year.
I heard you talk about varsity football.
Yeah.
You're gonna do great in this role
Yeah.
as the jock in high school. That's gonna be fun.
It just was something that was there. Auditions for this play, and I figured I've never done it before. I might as well try it, and I fell in love with it immediately.
Just acting and
First acting, and then
Yeah.
it wasn't until later that year, the beginning of my senior year, which they didn't have a play, they had a musical, and there is when I discovered that I could sing, and so I was given a solo, and then I started to take it very seriously by finding a professional voice coach that I worked with for almost 3 years, and then when I graduated high school and looking for more opportunities to build up my resume, because I didn't really have much. I had some summer camp stuff at my senior year, but nothing really like concrete.
yeah.
And so when I started going out to the South Shore community scene, that's when I had to kind of step it up, because I was competing with other people that have been doing this for a very long time. And then luckily this wonderful director and choreographer casted me in the show of Chicago, and then I found out, okay, if I work at it I can dance, and then that's how I kind of became a trifecta of just those three things. And like I said, most of the time I've done straight plays and musicals, but it isn't until I got to college where I was more thinking about, like, do I want to try film and television? Because it's always been on my mind.
Yeah.
And extra work, I'll tell you right now, it's grueling. It's grunt work, not really great pay, but it does come with a few opportunities to network,
Yeah.
which I've done successfully. Meet a lot of like-minded and fun people that you could potentially work with in the future. And if you're really lucky, you could have the potential to get vouchers to join the Screen Actors Guild Union. You need 3 to be eligible to join, and I currently have 2 from the last project. So what they'll do is that if there's not enough union extras, they'll bump up non-union extras and they get a pay bump and vouchers for that. And I cannot express how blessed and lucky I feel to have that opportunity to get those 2 vouchers, because I'm so close to being able to join the union, but it's just right out of my grasp.
I think that someday you'll make it there. And all I can think about is how, there are so many actors, their stories are like, oh, I was in this big city, X name for city. Yeah. I was sleeping on X person's couch for a long time just trying to get a gig, and then they make it. Mm-hmm. So I really do think about how you have to market yourself. And I think that, I wonder what your thoughts on this are, right?
Yeah.
I'm thinking about how everyone looks different. Everyone has a unique look to them. Mm-hmm. And I feel like when you're acting, there is a marketable trait system that you need to kind of show. Mm-hmm. And now the whole thing of being an actor is you can act. You can be like one person or another person.
Yeah.
But Tom Cruise is always in these military movies, and I feel like, why is that? Is it because he can act well, or is it because he fits the part too? Or is it a combination of both? I would argue it's a combination of both.
I would have to agree with you.
So that was my thought process just there.
The deal with that is kind of after doing a little bit of research and reading, I found that especially when you're trying to break into the business of film and television, the headshot is the first thing casting directors are going to see once you submit. So you have to stand out, but keep in mind you're selling yourself. Mm-hmm. So you could have this really great, handsome, sexy photo of you.
Right.
But once you get to the audition, they're going to be expecting you to be that sexy person they see on the headshot. And if you're not, you're probably not going to fit the role.
So it's important to kind of market yourself as you are rather than what you should be.
Yes,
I got to stop bouncing my leg, man. Those plates.
Yeah, especially in show business, typecasting. I was reading this book by Jenna Fisher, who played Pam Beesly in The Office. Who has a wonderful book.
For a second, I was like, is that her?
Yeah, she has this wonderful book I recommend everybody pick up.
What is it called?
I think it's called The Actor's Life.
The Actor's Life.
The Actor's Life, or something along those lines. I was just reading it. And how she talks about how you want to be selling yourself. And a great way to do that is through your headshots and really know what you're trying to sell to people.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, it is a business. So one thing she recommends is picking 5 adjectives that you would describe yourself, or how other people would describe you.
Oh, okay.
And it's important to ask certain people, not just your best friend or your parents or even yourself, because there will be bias. So maybe asking random people you're not really that close with, friends, but not your best friends, of how they would actually describe you. Get those 5 adjectives and convey you, which they describe in that headshot. And so it won't be a surprise to the casting director that, we chose you for a reason. Uh-huh. And that's one of the ways Jenna Fisher was able to land the character of Pam Beesly in The Office.
Well, now I'm thinking how I would describe you, and I got a few. I would say perceptive and intelligent. Those are 2 I would say. Oh, okay, I'm flattering you now.
Thank you. I'm blushing.
No, but I'm serious. I think that you really have a good shot at doing something like this, because I feel like you have the skill set. I feel like you're a hard worker. You're making it through college. Didn't you went somewhere else, and then you went to UMass Amherst after, right? Did you?
Yeah.
Didn't you have a period where you weren't in school for a time, or?
Yeah, I took a gap semester. Right after high school, I went into community college because my GPA was not great coming out of high school, but it improved drastically.
Yeah.
But luckily, I was able to get into UMass Amherst because of the mass transfer system. Mm-hmm. And if you maintain above a 2.0,
You can really go anywhere.
Yeah,
like,
you
it's
can go
helpful.
any state school. You get accepted. Okay. And the higher your GPA is, or if you do some specific things, you get money off your tuition and X, Y, and Z. And I'm really glad I chose this school because I personally don't feel that you need a degree to do this. I mean, any sort of training helps. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, I felt that spending a lot of money on a private institution would just be... It could be helpful. It also couldn't be. It's a risk you're going to have to weigh yourself. Yeah. But I'm glad I stayed stateside and saved a lot of money.
Yeah, I think that some colleges, it makes sense to go private. You know, if you're going for a very specific field, like something you're like, I know I want to go into this. This is what I want to do. Like maybe, for example, you are a biological physicist, if that even exists, dude. I don't know.
Microbiology or biology.
Yeah, like something. Like you're going to want to go to a... I feel like those STEAM programs. Yeah. You really want to go to a good spot Computer science, you can. Yeah. If you can. No, I don't like basically saying, oh, he went to this school, so he's obviously better. I think that it's a combination of that factor and other factors on the resume, other factors about this person's personality, how hardworking they are, how other people will determine them.
You get it. It's not about what school you, at least personally for me, it's not about what school you go to. Uh-huh. The only things that really matter is that how persistent you are at your craft and performing and submitting auditions and how talented you are. Because they're not the first requirement for especially this field. You have to be good. Yeah. They don't just pick your name out of a hat or those. Sometimes like you'll hear these stories about like this person saw X, Y, and Z at a mall and just decided to like, hey, you're gonna be a star. And
it's not so common. I mean, what was her name? Who's the girl in Star Wars? The Rey Skywalker.
Daisy Ridley.
I heard that she was working at a restaurant and J.J. Abrams comes into the restaurant and he's eating there, whatever, and she is his waitress, and he was kind of like sitting there like, you know, looking at her a bit and being like, this is the girl that needs to be in Star Wars. That was a story I heard. I don't know if it's true.
It's happened before. I remember the director of the movie Alien was in a pub and he saw this really tall guy. I can't think of the actor's name right now, but he pulled him aside, asked him if he wanted to be in the movie, and he ended up being the alien, like the alien. I think that's his only acting credit as well.
No way.
So sometimes lightning does strike twice, or I don't even know if that's the right saying.
No, I know what you're saying.
But sometimes things like that do happen, but you gotta assume it's not.
Yeah. You have to just work hard, you know, like you never, I can't tell you. This is what, you know, in a way it breaks my heart, in another way I understand. A lot of people, I work at a liquor store at the moment. Lot of people, let's go. The liquor game is very interesting, guys. It's a very interesting game. It's the people you meet that come in there, you meet all sorts of different characters.
Babysitting adults, it's great.
Oh yeah, it's wonderful. And I was going to say the lottery. Do you guys have lottery?
Yeah.
Oh, lottery sucks, man. But I can't help but feel like there's so many people that come in and they play lottery. And I feel like, especially the younger people, you're wasting your money because you're not going to win the lottery by doing this because the odds are so astronomically, asininingly, if that's even a word, low. You're not going to win the lottery. You know, I mean, you might win the lottery. It's fun to play the Mega Millions when it's at $1.3 billion. Yeah.
That could buy you like a whole tank of gas.
Inflation. That's a good one. Oh man, that has to stop. It's us bouncing our legs. That's what it is.
Because it's fun. Because we're having fun.
Yeah. But I get it. There are some 90-year-olds that come in and just sit in the little lobby area and play lottery. I get it. It's kind of fun. It's kind of exhilarating at that age. There's a few people that win like $500. It's always great when they tip you. Yeah. This guy tipped me the other night.
He won. Tipped?
Yeah, he won $500 on Keno, and he tipped me and my coworker $20.
What the heck? That's never happened to me.
Really?
No, we never got tipped.
Have you had anyone win yet?
We've had people win like $500 just for them to buy more lottery tickets with it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so usually, especially with Keno, they're supposed to tip you. That's how it is.
Oh, no.
So, I don't know.
They just buy more scratch tickets.
If maybe next time go like, hey, so like, what's the deal here? And you laugh about it.
In their head, it's just like, I got to keep playing because 90% of gamblers quit right when they're about to hit it big.
Yeah, and I know that if I like just started playing, I feel like I'd be in too deep. Yeah. So I don't wanna play. I really don't play. I only buy scratch tickets when it's somebody's birthday and it's kind of fun, you know, like it's a gift, so that person's not losing the money. It's just them playing for money.
I'm already gambling with my career. I don't need to gamble on anything else as well. So.
Well, it's interesting. We were talking about this performing, you know, aspect of what you're doing, and all I can think about was, you know, for me again with the like the political side of my college, it was a form of acting.
Oh yeah, of course.
You know, because I had to tell people like this is what I stand for, this is what I think I want to do. Yeah. You know, blah blah blah. So I love how in a lot of careers there are some parallels that come in, but it's obviously different. I mean. With performing, with what you're saying, it's a bit more for the entertainment industry and things like that. Yeah. Can you see yourself being in a blockbuster movie? Can you see Andre on the big screen? Yeah. I hope I see that someday. Genuinely.
I hope I do too. Thank you.
I think it would be really cool, and it would be such a wonderful experience. I agree. I always thought being an actor would be kind of fun. I wish I did maybe some of that in high school. I never did. Part of me wishes I did. I was class president for a year, and that was all I did.
That's still something, and I mean, it's never too late. And I mean,
yeah, okay.
Yeah, it's never too late. I've had many people come up to me, like especially on the extra sets that are older than me, keep saying that, oh, and I wish I was your age and doing this, blah blah blah. I'm like, you're doing it right now.
Yeah.
Like, it's not too late, but I mean, I think, yeah, our chances are better. Look, everything's a gamble.
Yeah, of course.
Especially in this, so.
So this is like your dream job, kind of. Like this, you're chasing your dream, essentially.
Yes.
See, you have to do that.
I mean.
You have to just go for it, you know.
If I'm being completely honest, I don't think I could stop even if I wanted to, and
That's the kind of energy you need.
I honestly cannot picture myself doing anything else, and I've tried so hard. I mean. Would I love to have like a STEM background? Well, I mean, both my parents are in STEM field, but would I love to just be able to be happy with going to business school or just being a biologist? Absolutely, that would be cool.
Yeah, I always wanted to be
have like a stable career, but at the same time, like I just physically cannot bring myself to do that. And I think part of that is due to my parents, because even though both my parents are in STEM fields, they both ended up in careers doing what they love to do, and I think that kind of rubbed off on me.
That's such an important quality, though.
Yeah.
I'm glad that kind of helped you. I remember when I was younger, I always wanted to be an astronaut or an astronomer. Oh, yeah. I used to tell people my freshman year in high school, I was like, oh, I want to work at the Keck Observatory in Hawaii. I love astronomy. It's something I've always loved since I was very young. But I just couldn't see myself really sitting there and you know, going through the math. And a lot of astronomy these days is done on computers. You sit there and you look at models, and it's not like how 100 years ago when Edwin Hubble was sitting at the Los Angeles Observatory. I forget the name of it. I really shouldn't forget the name, but I do. It's the, you know, in Grand Theft Auto,
the giant observatory.
Yeah, it's obviously the parallel, but he discovered how galaxies. I could be getting this wrong. I'm not a PhD, obviously, but a lot of the galaxies he was looking at, even though I think at the time they didn't know that there were other galaxies, they thought the Milky Way was the universe at the time. Yeah. They thought the Andromeda Nebula, they used to call it the Andromeda Nebula, he noticed that galaxy and a few others were like moving away at different speeds, and there was like this red shifting like paradox that they had to work through, and there was this whole they called it like the Great Astronomical Debate in I think it was in 1930. It was really interesting. Oh, yeah. You know, I know the information.
You talk about this because I can just feel the passion.
Yeah,
of like what you like talking about, and it really reads. It reads.
And like I know this information, but I know it like how a teacher would teach it to somebody, rather than. Okay, so here's the mathematical properties behind redshifting. I could not tell you, so that's why I'm not. I don't know, man. Like, who knows? Like, maybe in the future, I could see myself definitely having like a metal dome in my backyard, like a motorized telescope.
I hope that happens. I'm manifesting for that right now.
That's why I was gonna say as well. I think that your drive and your push is so important, but it's also important to have enough money to kind of get by and be comfortable. Yeah. You know, you don't want to work a really good salary in a job that you literally hate for your whole life. I can picture myself doing that for a few years just to get myself up a little bit.
Yeah, I agree, yeah.
But so it's like, I feel like you have to find the healthy balance, and maybe someday you can make a whole career out of it.
Yeah, really the biggest thing, or one of the biggest things or challenges is definitely the mental hurdles that come with this. The rejection, especially comparing yourself to other people, the insecurity. Especially, I feel this on social media. I'm not very
big on social media, man.
I'm not very insecure on a lot of things, but posting on social media, for some reason, it's like, I don't know.
You're promoting yourself to the whole world for them to come at you, you know?
Exactly.
And I've had people come at me in person, social media, all these things, and I feel like part of it is just being brave, you know, and the courage to it.
I mean, I've had people tell me straight to my face that they could have done a better job at whatever.
Oh yeah.
And to which, like, I respond in a polite way, like, I guess we'll never know, but really, in my head, I'm thinking, all right, go. Yeah,
it makes you feel a certain way. But I always take that as inspiration.
I do. No,
that's how I turn it around.
I feel like
you're gonna tell me I can't do something.
Yeah, no, I let my work speak for itself.
Yeah.
And
that's all you have to do.
But one thing that does suck is definitely the never-ending skepticism from your family and friends. It's something that, like, me, especially in my family, I've had arguments with certain members of my family about this topic.
About acting
and wanting to pursue it as a career, but they were dead set on me doing something else, and it caused a lot of friction between us. And as much as it hurt, I still couldn't let it stop me. And finally, they're starting to come around and realizing how much this means to me, and I'm very grateful that I have them in my corner now. But something that you're just always going to have to deal with is self-doubt. Doubt from other people, but and negative people. Oh, jeez.
Yeah, and you know, I can't stand negative people, because you're literally sucking the life and joy out of somebody else for your own pleasure, just because you want to knock them down. When my grandmother was alive, she had this saying. She said, "You have to eat, sleep, and breathe it. You have to just." That is breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That is your motivation.
Earn your stripes.
You know, like you have to push yourself, and you have to just keep fighting. You know, because I was driving in Peabody, where I'm from, and these kids were selling. One of the kids, I was camp counselor a few years back. I had one of the kids on at my camp, and he was selling like lemonade and water on the side of the road with his friends. So, you know, I pulled out my wallet and I handed him a $5. The lemonade and the waters were each $1. And he was like, "What do you want?" And I was like, "Nothing." Because I really wasn't thirsty. And I knew him. Like, I wanted to be nice. You know, I was really trying to be that person. Yeah. And I looked at these kids and I go, "You have to work hard, because no one's going to do it for you. Just remember that." And these kids are like, I don't know, like 10.
And they just look at you like, okay.
Yeah, and they're like, okay, yeah. I hope it's sunk in for at least one of them, because maybe they'll take that statement and then it'll just sit in their brain for a few years. And maybe when they're 14, they'll remember that when they're on the baseball team and they're in varsity or something. You know, like, I'm just saying, like, I want people to push themselves and do better.
I mean, sometimes, especially in my case, in order to not necessarily level up, but kind of grow up, and because I came from a very spoiled background, being an only child.
Yeah.
And I know this is only the start of it, but it's starting to become a bit of a rude awakening, especially being on my own.
Yeah.
Right now, as it is, and it's finally starting to set in the realities a little bit.
Yeah.
I think I'm only getting a taste of it because I still have the security of being in my home state and at college. But when I eventually move to Los Angeles and have to save money and pinch pennies and eat the exact same way I do now because of budgetary reasons, sometimes those situations just have to happen to you. And no matter what other people will tell you or try to lift you up, sometimes you just have to be, excuse my language, you just have to be in the shit.
Yeah.
In order to...
You gotta get your hands dirty.
Yeah, you have to.
You have to get your hands dirty. There are so many sayings. I think a lot of people are lazy and they just don't.
I'm
want, but they don't
guilty
push.
Of it. Yeah, I'm guilty of it.
No, and me too. I think we all are. Sometimes I kick myself because I was like, oh, I could have picked up an extra shift at work today, but I didn't. You know, or I could have. I do Instacart on the side. I could have did some Instacart orders today, but I didn't.
It's like I was saying, like inaction has worse consequences than a mistake does.
I'm not a religious person. I mean, maybe a little bit. But in the Bible, I remember Steve Harvey said this. He was like the folding of hands and the people who like to sleep, poverty will set upon you like a thief in the night. That's what he said. You know, I don't know if that's a verse from the Bible or not. I'm not quoting him, but I'm just, that was in general what he said.
It still rings very true.
Yeah. So you're gonna move to LA. That's your dream.
That's the plan as of now. I've looked at both LA and New York and where I want to be because if you want to be in film and television, Los Angeles. If you want to be in theater, stage, New York. And though you hear a lot of these up and coming places like Chicago, Atlanta, those places get most of their casting from Los Angeles and New York. They send those people over there, and it changes every few years or decades.
So big cities are kind of where you need to be.
Big cities, but I would say Los Angeles and New York, definitely. So one of those two. And the more even though it's just extra grunt work, seeing how like the movie set works, seeing like all the moving parts, and having just more respect for people behind the scenes, more than I already do, because I could never be I don't think I could ever be a great stagehand or stage managers.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, amazing props, lighting. It's incredible what they do.
There's so much that goes into it.
Yeah, and seeing it work on a movie, I felt rejuvenated.
Mm-hmm.
I felt so rejuvenated, and I don't know, it was really hard, just many hours just sitting around waiting in frigid weather and like one of the hottest weekends in July, and it was so worth it.
Yeah.
I learned so much, and I think movie and television is where I'm heading, or is where I want to be, and I think Los Angeles is going to be the place.
Well, man, I wish you luck, and I hope to have you on this show again, whether it's in person or digitally, if you're out there someday, if I don't see you.
Yeah.
But it was a pleasure having you on. André Meservey, everybody. Thank you for watching. I hope the distractions weren't too bad for you. And I hope to see you on the next episode. And cheers. Thanks for watching.
Take care.